Thanks for accepting the interview. Welcome to Taekwondo Passion.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Luis. Looking forward to talking with you.
Excellent. How are you?
Good, yeah, good. Busy day. As you know, we've been working together today. So yeah, recently been working with Kickboxing. So yeah, just things are getting really busy. We've just launched our new Club Pro product, which is designed for martial arts clubs, and it's sports technology that's specific to martial arts. So as you know, we're branching out in the UK, Mexico, USA. So we're just starting to spread out. So I've been busy with that, teaching online sessions as well. Just finished my online training group. So yeah, busy, but busy is good.
Perfect. Excellent. Good to know it. We will talk about KKI during the interview. But to start, I want to know, an introduction of yourself, who is Damon Sansum for people who don't know you?
Okay. So Damon Sansum is, I'd say from sport. I mean, I was in the GB Taekwondo team for 10 years. Prior to that, I was a kickboxer, kind of sport karate fighter for again, maybe how long? 10 years. So yeah, so I've been in martial arts since about 11 years old. Other than that, I mean, I have a passion for teaching martial arts. I love any kind of martial art. I like to coach. I like now, after being in the team for 10 years, world medals, European medals, and just a great experience. I feel like now it's my time to give back to the next generation. So at the moment, I'm coaching online a lot. Pre-lockdown, I was in a lot of different countries, teaching and seminars and training camps, which that's my passion to teach. And I was actually as lockdown happened, I was in Canada and America, and I was so close to getting stuck in Canada, and I had to go back from the border, and then I was also very close to getting stuck in America. Oh. So I just made it back in time, but since then I've moved things online as things are changing, and that's when I've been able to use Kickboxing as well with my online sessions and just moving with the times, really. Other than that, I'm a very positive, motivational kind of person that enjoys life, and my glass is always half full, and I've got my glass here as well.
Excellent. Amazing. So you were really close to be stuck on the States for a long while.
Yeah, so what happened was I went from so my first seminar was in Michigan, and then my second seminar was in Ontario. So I taught a seminar in Michigan. It was all starting to kick off the COVID, and people started to worry. So obviously, people still came to the seminars, which was great. And then I had to travel from Michigan to Ontario. So as we went to the border, the borders, generally they said there's loads of queues to the borders, and there was no queues. And we went there, and I couldn't really say what we were doing. And I was with a couple of the students that took me in the car. And they said, why are you going to Canada? And I said, I'm going to, for a Taekwondo training session. And they said, are you crazy? I said, no. So they said, listen, go through, but I don't think you're going to get back into America. So I taught a seminar with Mark Warburton, a really good seminar. But the whole time the seminar, the mood was kind of strange because I was teaching and enjoying it. But at the same time, I thought I may get stuck here. Again, we finished the seminar, quickly got everything, went to the border, and then driving up to the border, it was really empty. The girl, Helen, who was driving, she just started coughing as well, and I was like, please stop coughing. Went to the border, and the guy looked at our passports, said, where have you been? And I'd been to a few countries previous for teaching. I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to get in here. And then he just looked at me and he said, listen, you can go through, but you have to be out of our country in 24 hours. I was like, okay. So I was supposed to go to Toronto for a seminar, so I had to cut that short, which was fine. And then I had to book a separate flight home, book the flight, woke up in the morning, there was no flight booked, it didn't go through. Went to the airport and I had till midnight to leave America or else I'll get stuck. And now knowing I would have been there for a long time. On the phone to, I think it was Air France, he said, I went to the airport in the morning just in case. And they said, listen, there's a flight leaving in an hour and a half to Manchester. So if you're at the airport, you can leave. And I just got on the flight and then just like in Indiana Jones, got out of the country.
Great story. Before you started with martial arts, what what kind of child were you? How was your family environment?
Yeah, so I originally grew up, my parents were together, and then I'd never done martial arts before, like 10, 11. So as a child, to be honest, I was quite, you'd probably not think it, but I was quite quiet. And when I was younger, quite reserved. And then my bit of a story, but my father he did karate for many, many years, and Taekwondo also in South Africa. And he's a very, very, very good good fighter. And I didn't really know much about it. So he was at the time, he was a bodyguard, which we'll probably get into later. And then after he worked for Princess Diana, and he was a bodyguard for her with the family and Muhammad Al Fayed. And he, after Diana, unfortunately, was killed in the car accident, they asked the bodyguards in London, to move out of the city to get out of the media. So my dad was asked to go to the top of Scotland to look after a castle that Muhammad Al Fayed would go to maybe once a year, maybe not, maybe no times a year. Had like hundreds of staff just in case. So I then went to live with my dad, and then my first ever martial arts lesson was in our living room at 10, 11. And then since then, he coached me, and then from that age, I was doing martial arts, kickboxing and karate, probably like 3, 4 times a week, and helping him with the club. And then since then, yeah, martial arts has been a massive part of my life. And that's, yeah, so I did that for how long? I did that for, I think like 10 years. I then went to university, and then that's when I joined the Taekwondo team at 24 years old.
Okay, perfect. So you moved with your father to the castle and you live there, or you have a house near
Uh,
there?
I wish we did. We had a house not too far away, but the castle, we went a couple. I mean, we used to have to go there, to look around it and check in on it and other property. And a couple of times, Muhammad Al used to own Harrods. He'd come with his family, and I'd be invited to the castle. And yeah, like it's crazy. This huge castle and all the food you want, all the toys and the motorbikes, the mini monster trucks, and yeah, it was a cool experience. It was a cool experience.
Excellent. I'm curious. Beside martial arts, did you practice another sport in that times?
I did. Let me think. Swimming. I was not. I'd say swimming. I was quite a good swimmer, but nothing. Not top level. Shot put. I did that like a couple of times, and I think I got bronze medal in the North of Scotland Championships. But I didn't have a shot put. I had to practice with a stone because the school I used to live in, the school I went to, they had like I think 9 students in the whole school, just tiny. So we didn't have any facilities, but yeah, I did a bit of shot put and I did swimming and then a little bit of boxing as well. Whilst I did kickboxing, I started to box, which I really enjoyed. But the style from the different 2 styles of kind of karate and boxing, I'd do karate for a few days and then boxing, and it'd keep putting me back. And they said I think you could be a really good boxer, but so I stuck with the martial arts.
Great. And when you started to train martial arts more seriously, maybe thinking in competing and all that
Yes, I
stuff.
think it was around. I'd say 15 years old, 15, 16. Before then, I used to compete quite a lot, but just small competitions. And I used to get so nervous. I used to get so nervous, and I used to be scared of fighting. And I remember sometimes I'd be so scared I'd end up being sick, and it's crazy to think. And then it just shows that everyone starts at some stage, and we all have to go through it as athletes and fighters. So I did that. And then at 15, 16, I had a break for about 6 months. My dad said, I don't want to see you go in the ring and, be timid and run away. I don't want to see that. So, I'll give you some time to chill and then come back to me when you want to do it. So I think I was 16 years old and I was still, I was doing okay, but not as well as I did in the gym, which I know a lot of people have. And some people always have that problem. And then I sat there and I did a team fight in the morning at a kickboxing competition, and I lost to this guy, and again didn't fight so well. And then in my head, I suppose now I understand psychology a lot more. I kind of rationalize things and put things into perspective. And I thought, you know what, it's not going to kill you. You know, it's not the end of the world. You're going to have to fight anyway. So just go and fight and give it your all. And then that moment was just like a light bulb went off. And then, you know, 3 hours later, I fought in my divisions and beat everyone that used to beat me. And then from then, you know, I won like a senior kickboxing European championships in an organization at 16 as well. So that was a stage where something happened in my brain and maturity as well. And then that's when I started to be serious.
Great. So you didn't have pressure from your father to, oh, you have to compete and be the number one? Kind of.
Yeah, I did have pressure. Let me think. It wasn't so much pressure, but at some stages, you know, he'd if I didn't perform well, you know, maybe be a bit disappointed. Not disappointed because, you know, there's more to life than, you know, competing. Is, you know, it's family at the end of the day. Win, lose or draw, you hopefully try your best. But at the stage when I was working out what was going on in my head, I think he was a bit like, you know, he knew how good I could have been, and I wasn't doing what I was doing on the mats. So I think he was frustrated. But we used to drive from Scotland to England at competitions, and it was like a 7-8 hour drive. And he used to drive all the way down there. And there's been times where, you know, he didn't speak to me on the way back. So yeah, there's been times, but I think over the years he said to me, you know, it's hard because you're my son, but at the same time I was your coach. And then when we stopped to have that bond, I suppose he thought it was easier to then have the relationship. But it's hard with you know, fathers and sons coaching, because you love them because you're the son, but at the same time you have to be harsh on them. So it was a bit of a mixed one.
Excellent. And how was that when you started to compete nationally? How was that style? You mentioned that it's like pond fighting. What would be the main differences with comparing it to Taekwondo?
So, I mean, it's quite interesting because I think kickboxing originally, it's called, I say kickboxing, but it's more karate point fighting. It's more similar to Taekwondo. So when I came from that style to Taekwondo, I was doing a lot of front leg fighting, and in Taekwondo, you know, they would skip on everything. It would be skip turning kicks, skip kicks, or off the back leg. I'd say the main differences are, you know, when I came, I was doing a lot of picking up and projecting with the front leg. And a lot of Taekwondo people, you know, they thought, we've not seen that before. And because Taekwondo changed to electronics, it didn't require as much power. So then they were thinking, why? What are you doing? Like, how are you doing that? But then in time, Taekwondo's evolved, or some people could say devolved. But yeah, it's changed a lot more like the style I used to do, which, you know, a lot of Taekwondo purists and the, you know, old school versus new school, it's a conversation probably won't want to get into, but Taekwondo today looks a lot more like the point fighting. But then with the system change and the Dado 2 being brought in, it's starting to go a little bit more for power and back leg turning kicks, and a little bit more old school, say. So yeah, it's funny how things evolve. But I used to always say, you know, to people when I joined the Taekwondo team, you know, I used to do certain kicks like hook kicks to the head, hook kicks to the body. And they said, that's not a kick. What is that? I said, a hook kick. I do a side kick. And he said, what is that? I said, it's a side kick. He said, it's not a kick, it's a check. It's not a proper kick. And I thought, it's the most traditional martial arts kick in the world. It's a side kick. So there was a lot of things that I, like my style was doing that maybe they were not, it wasn't Taekwondo, traditional Taekwondo. And I get that, because before it was referees deciding the points. So it has to be, you know, certain techniques. But as time's gone on, it's changed so much into what I used to do. It looks so similar. People are countering underneath with hook kicks to the body. You know, I remember the US Open 2011. I said to one of my teammates, I think it was Martin Stamper at the time, I said, hook kicks will score to the body. He said, no, they won't. I said, I'll show you. And then 2011 US Open, I remember on Le Just, I scored a hook kick to the body. And I said, I told you you'll score. But sometimes you can believe what you hear. And in martial arts, you know, you can be told that doesn't work. And why not? You know, and the best people, in my opinion, are the ones that are creative. You know, they don't play by the rules and they look outside the box. And for me, you know, I did the hook kick that one time, but I probably didn't do it going forward because I maybe just listened to everyone. So I think for me, you know, there's no rules to fighting. You know, there's techniques that come out every year in sport, and you go, whoa, I've never seen that before. So the people that can do that are the ones that can stay at the top of the game and also remain exciting as well.
Amazing. And in that style, did you punch to the face?
Yeah, previous style. So a couple of times in Taekwondo competitions, and I was like, sorry. Or in training, someone kicking, I'd sweep the leg and then ended up in the middle of the air. I was like, I'm sorry. But no, I kind of said to myself quite early on, just ignore the punching and focus on the kicking. Whereas so like Andrew Deere, one of my teammates, ex-teammates, good friend of mine, he just always punched me in the face because he came from ITF. So when we joined the Taekwondo team, it was like different styles join the team, and every time I was like, Andy, stop punching me in the face, please. So good journey to try and change the style, and yeah, it was an interesting experience.
Excellent. And of that karate pon fighting or kickboxing, you were world champion actually? Really?
Yeah, so in the kickboxing itself, I won a world title, like a world title fight, an individual one for an organization called it was at the time it was WOMA. WAKO is WACO, so that's like one of the main governing bodies. So I won the world team title. I didn't do a world championship in a single division. I kind of left the sport, so I didn't get to do the single one. What else have we done? So WACO, a World Cup title, like European ones, and there's in kickboxing there's a lot of different organisations. Irish Open is one of the biggest ones, where I got a silver in the heavyweight, and I think there's like 100 people, and it's probably the best one in kickboxing. And me and my ex-teammate Michael Venom Page, who does MMA now, we fought each other in the final, which was good. So that was a big competition. And other than that, yeah, just I suppose when I left kickboxing, I was kind of getting into the groove, and I started to be very consistent. And I was, getting to the top, and yeah, the very top of the game. And that's when I left to join Taekwondo, because I had shoulder injuries. My shoulder was, there's so many issues with it. It used to dislocate all the time, and it's subluxate, so it would pop in and pop out, and it would suck back in on its own, and it ended up coming out, I'd say, plus 20 times. And it was getting so unstable, and got to the stage where I was doing all the exercises and I had all the straps and stuff, and then it popped out again, and I was thinking, I'm gonna have to take a break from kickboxing. And then I got a scan from the NHS, so they put an injection into my iodine to help. But then when they put in the injection, they were just digging around. I was thinking, I feel a bit lightheaded. And I remember I fainted, and I sat up, and I was sat in this wheelchair. My dad looked at me, he said, "You just fainted?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "I won't tell anyone." I said, "Okay, thanks, Dad." So we went anyway. I got the scan, and then we called up, month by month, and then they lost the results. Don't know how that happened. They misplaced the results. And then my dad said, there's a martial arts magazine called Martial Arts Illustrated, which is run. It's not. I don't think it's going anymore, but a friend of ours, Bob Sykes, runs it. And then there was an advert saying, different styles can apply to join the Taekwondo team: karate, MMA, kung fu. If you think you've got what it takes, we will put you up in Manchester. You'll get a flat, you'll get a wage, and you'll train full time. And my dad said, your shoulder's not so good at the moment, so I think you should apply. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do Taekwondo, Dad. I said, I've never really watched that. They wear all these body armors, and in my opinion, I didn't know much about the sport. So I ended up applying, and in the first one, there was like 1,500 people applied, and it ended up being about 3 or 4 of us getting in. And yeah, it was tough training days, boot camps, loads of fights. And on the last kind of day that we had it, it was like myself, Robbie Hughes, a really good kickboxer of mine, a friend of mine, some ITF Warren Vice, Davin Pat. It was almost the best of the best, the best karate, the best ITF, the best type. Everyone was there, and it was a really good week. And then after that, I was accepted into the team, and then I came into the team, and that's when I joined it in 2010.
Amazing. And how they do these trials? What kind of I don't know how to say, what kind of exercise you were asked to check your talent?
So it was almost like the first one was just fighting. So you know, you tipped up to a venue, you did some fitness tests, some like I think flexibility stuff, and then that was it. You fought with someone with there was a panel of like 5 GB coaches and then referees. So I just turned up. I fought a Taekwondo person from Olympic Taekwondo. I ended up beating him in Golden Point. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just fought, and then I did it went well. And then I've got the fight somewhere. I mean, I say it went well, but looking back now, I was like, oh, it's not so good. But yeah, and then the next time we went for a week, and we did a lot of sparring, pad work, loads of fighting, and they really pushed us. And it was like 2-3 sessions a day for 7 days. But since then, I think GB Taekwondo have realised maybe that's not the best way to do it, because Paul Green, a legend of Taekwondo, he took it. And Paul's 100 miles an hour with everything he does. So, so we were in bad ways. I remember I sat down and I was just thinking like my hamstrings, everything, sitting down. It was just so much pain. And a lot of people have got injured as well, and feet all swollen. So yeah, it was a tough week that I think at the time I was 24 years old. So I was a man, and, I had we were all a little bit older. So, we went into the fighting chance, and I was trying to prove that my style was better than your style. A lot of the people sometimes now, because of social media and the media presence of all the athletes, they can see them on Instagram, they can see them on Facebook, and people may come down and train, and they're like, oh, whoa, it's I don't know, Jay Jones, or Lieutenant Mohammed, Chrissy Manish, Mohammed Cho, and all these people, and they almost think, I've seen how good you are, so if I spar with you, it's okay if I lose, because you're so good. Whereas I didn't know anything about anyone back then. I don't think Instagram was even then. It wasn't even out then. So I just went and I thought, you know what? I'm going to show that my style is going to beat Taekwondo. And that's how I was successful, I think. And we kept separate from the Taekwondo team. We had the fighting chance team, the Taekwondo team. And then we trained separately for a few weeks, probably about a couple of months. And then we used to meet for sparring. And it used to be really hostile. And it was like, walk past us and they didn't want to talk to us, like, oh, it's these kickboxers. So, but that's what I think made us really good, really fast, is the really tough internal competitiveness.
So those first fights of the first 2 days were already with Taekwondo rules.
Yeah, straight with rules. I mean, there was no electronics. It was just on normal body armors, but yeah, straight Taekwondo rules. Right. So, I'm hearing the commands. They changed the commands to English because obviously we'd not understand, but I still didn't really know what was going on. But I just knew how to, and I was just going to fight, and that was it. I'm going to try and kick him more than he kicks me, and that's how it was.
Amazing, excellent. And once you were part of the Olympic team, how did you feel? How were your first experiences competing in Taekwondo?
Yeah, so the first fighting chance, we didn't have much time to prove ourselves. As time's gone on, it's taken some people, a lot longer to transfer. Some people transferred fast, but like we were dragged in for London 2012, and we came halfway through towards the end of 2010. So we had like 3 month, 6 month contracts, and it was almost perform within that time. So I mean, I found it was okay, to be honest. Like, fighting's fighting, and I know I picked it up quite easy. Certain things from my style, for example, I wasn't good at going back in a straight line. We don't learn how to shift out and kick. It's one shot and then it stops. So if Paul Green was coaching me at the time, so if I started to go backwards to try and do Taekwondo techniques, it would never have gone well. So my strengths were kind of my left leg reaction to the face, punch, and leg control. So my plan and the coach's plan at the time, it was like pressure, but don't ever go back. Don't ever give room. So that's why I was a very pressure fighter, which worked really well. So I had a competition about 2-3 months, the British Open, and I lost to a guy from Holland. We fought since, actually. He's really tall. And he's really a tricky player. And I mean, I think it was like 2-1 to him, or like I just couldn't score, and I struggled to score in the Dado system at the time, because I think when people come from different styles, you know yourself, it's learning how to score in the electronic system, and that takes a bit of time. so yeah, so my family came and I lost first round, and he was an international player, an international fighter, and I was so angry. I was thinking I'm terrible at what we're doing, and then back to training again, and then I fought in the French Open in, I think it was December or the November, and then I ended up getting a bronze in the heavyweight and beat some European champions and stuff on the way. Yeah, I was really enjoyed that, and then the medal almost proved that the fighting chance worked. So it proved that the system works, and it attracted more funding. So yeah, that was a good competition. I had 5 or 6 fights. I fought my teammate Mohamed Cho in the final, in the semi-final. He went on to win. At the time, I was only like 86, 87 kilos, I think. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it, and I think the success I had early on was people used to see like this as a trigger to shift out or counter, whereas I was picking up and sliding. So I was catching so many people in the face, and generally quite hard headshots. So like every opponent, remember that it was like blood, and I was thinking, I like this style. So yeah, so that was early days really, and since then, just improved and understood the system more, and just kept fighting and just believing in it really.
Great. Before going further in your career, having been a top elite athlete of both styles, what do you think they can learn of each other?
Yeah, so I mean, my style, point fighting karate. I think the beauty is, it's the first to score wins. So you learn to be so accurate, you learn to be so quick, and it's like boom, everything's so sharp. So every time I threw a front leg, I visualized it hitting the face, because you score that 1 point and that's it, it stops. So that style is very good at just being smart, and also it's a very tactical style like Taekwondo also. So it's being smart and scoring that point. So I think the rather than throwing 4 kicks and hitting on the 4th one, I'd always try and score every kick. And I think the speed and the skills I learned is very good from that art form. Punching as well. Taekwondo don't really coach punching that much, and I found over the years, it's quite interesting because a back leg turning kick. How many times have you practiced that? It's just a silly amount of times, repetition, and still, now, if I did a back leg, I'd still look at it and think that's not good enough. And it's same with punching. A boxer, practices his jab, for 20 years, and they're still perfecting it. Whereas Taekwondo appear to just say, oh, and now we're going to punch. But how do you punch? Like, teach the punch. So I think it's sometimes because of a lack of coaching knowledge of punching. So, some Taekwondo guys and athletes that I've coached and worked with, the punching is, I would say, really bad as a whole sometimes. As a group in Taekwondo, there's generally no rotation, no power. And that's because I think it's not part of the sport. That's the only issue. The only problem is it's just not. You don't go to Olympic Taekwondo to learn to punch properly. So I think the punching is a really good form of that style also. So I used to punch a lot of my fights, and I think as well, you can hurt people as well, and the thin gloves and the body armors, you can do some damage with them thin gloves. And I always wanted to knock someone out with a punch. And I think I got someone counted, was it once or twice, but I never finished a fight with a punch, that was something I always wanted to do. Yeah, so that was from that style, and then from Taekwondo, what you take from Taekwondo, loads of things. They are the best kickers. The kicks are so direct and fast, and kickboxing kicks are quite wide sometimes, and that Taekwondo's efficiency, and when I came to Taekwondo, I saw them, and everyone's really skinny, and they have to make weight. And when I walked in the gym, in the Taekwondo gym, I saw like Martin Stamford, Tony Griezmann, a few different athletes at the time, and I thought these guys can't be powerful. Then when I started holding the pads, Arakut was there, and he's only young at the time. And when I started to feel the power, I thought, wow, like it shocked me a bit, because in point fighting, it's anything scores, just a little touch, and then Taekwondo, it seems to be much more powerful techniques, and the back kicks and the spins, it's devastating. And some of the power that I've gained through learning the Taekwondo skills, not only the pad kicking skills, but the strength and conditioning, the plyometrics. So yeah, Taekwondo's they are the best kickers, and I think sometimes you may watch an Olympic Taekwondo fight, but it can look a bit tame, you know. It's two top athletes and it's chess. You know, they're tying each other's legs up. It's a bit of stalemate. No one wants to take the risk because it's Olympic Championships or the World Championships. But you know, you go to an Open or something where people just let themselves go and it's exciting. So I think the Taekwondo on TV, it doesn't give it justice of what it's like. And you know, if you go and see it and feel the power of the kicks and the speed of the kicks, you know, it'll blow you away.
Amazing. Great feedback from you. Well, let's go now to your first world medal. How was the process to achieving it? When you started, I guess you already didn't have the spot earned. How did you earn your spot for the World Championships and then the medal?
So, I mean, my first ever World Championships was 2011. So I'd been in the team less than a year. And I was in the -87s category. So yeah, straight in the deep end, like in Gyeongju in Korea. And I thought, I remember sitting in the hotel and, you know, I was fighting last. I always fight last -80. I was -87 at the time. And I was thinking, you know, should I be here? Should I not be here? What am I doing here? And then I just was watching more. And I thought, you know what? You can do this. Like, you can do it. So the first fight, I fought someone from, I think it was Australia, and I won that. I fought someone from, I think it was Kazakhstan, and I won that. And then I fought Carlo Molfetta from Italy. Yeah, in the first 2 rounds, it was like 8-8. I got him some nice headshots. He got me with some nice headshots. And then the last round, it was just experience. Like, I was rushing in too far and I was getting hit with crescent kicks and he pulled away towards the end. But like, I was devastated with that. And I was like, it's not good enough. Because that's what I'm like. I hold myself to a very high account. And I can beat myself up sometimes, but you know, in reflection, people saying, "Mate, you've done it for a year. Like, you know, you were tying with you won the Olympics, you know, a year later. So you're tying with the future Olympic champion. But at the time, I really wanted to do better. And I think a lot of athletes sometimes can say, "Yeah, it's okay, but you know what? You know, I've only done it for this amount of time, so it's okay that I lost." I think if you go down that route, it's not good. You have to, you know, hold yourself to the highest possible standard. Yeah, so then that was my first one. Then Puebla, Mexico, was 2013. And I won. So I fought Yunus Sari from Turkey, and he was like the 2nd seed at the time, or was he 2nd or 3rd seed? 4th seed. So I beat him first round. And I remember I was watching him fight on the video beforehand, and he can back kick really well. And I was thinking, oh, this guy's got a good back kick. But, you know, tactically we went well. And then that was the second fight. First fight I fought from Uzbekistan, Rafalovic, a really good fighter. And then the 3rd round, I fought Anton Kotkov in the quarters. And again, I was winning, and I was thinking I can do this. The next person I knew I could beat, and I thought I'm going to get a medal. And then I was winning the fight, and we were moving, and he just threw a really slow front kick, and it just had a beard at the time. I still have a beard, but his toe hit my chin, and it just touched me. And it was just a strange kick. And then I looked, and I thought they've gone and scored it. And then I rushed at him, and I lost. But yeah, so I thought, you know, that could have. I believe at that competition, if I'd have got through that fight, I think I could have won it, you know, because of my style at the time. I think Rene Lizarraga won silver. What's his name? Tahir Gulek won gold. Yeah, and at the time, you know, I fought Tahir the year later, and you know, I ended up beating by a significant amount of points, and he ended up beating me after that. It's always like that in martial arts. But I feel like if I'd have got through that fight, I could have won. I think I could have won it. So again, I came home and I thought it's not going to happen. You know, the Taekwondo World Championships every 2 years. Like, am I ever gonna get a medal? And I know from kickboxing and certain point fighting styles, there's so many organizations out there. Like, honestly, like say last year, I could have gone to Manchester and fought in 2 world championships in some organization, but it doesn't mean that much because there's so many out there. But you know, the Wacko Kickboxing is the most prestigious one, but it can be diluted. So, you know, I was thinking, you know, Taekwondo, it is tough. You know, you can have 5, 6, 7 fights. Everyone's training full time. Everyone's training, you know, 2-3 times a day. And, you know, it's not 2 or 3 people in the division that can beat you. Anyone can challenge you. So I was thinking, I'm putting so much time into the sport. Like, am I going to do it? And I thought, you know what? Trust the process. You'll get there. You'll get there. So in 2015, I started to really come to my own. Prior to the Olympics, I started to learn how to score in the system. I started to be sneaky. I started to use my speed. I started to be efficient and realize I don't have to go with big kicks. I can sneak points. And maybe, yeah, it's not traditional Taekwondo, but you have to be smart. But I mean, if anyone's fought me, although I can be sneaky, I will fight. You've been in a fight. And then 2015, I won in the preparation. I won Dutch Open, US Open. What else? I think I won like 3 or 4, like a back-to-back. And then I got medals in like 8 or 9 competitions consecutively. And I thought, finally, I'm getting consistency in the style. And in a sport like Taekwondo, where you fight so much, it's so hard to be consistent. So I thought the World Championships in Russia in 2015, I thought, you know what, like I've won loads of competitions, and I've medaled in everything, even Korean Open. That was a big goal of mine. The original sport of Korea, like how can some kickboxer go and win a medal there? I got a bronze and I should have been the final, to be fair. It was a bit boring. But yeah, so 2015 World Championships, I thought, you know what, if everything goes well, I should do well here. Yeah, then I got to the final. Had a good fight with Aaron Cook in the semi. A friend of mine again, who doesn't live too far away. And yes, so went to the final and then fought a guy, Kodabashi from Iran, and the final didn't go so well. So again, I had a silver in the Worlds, but I was so annoyed. I was thinking, like, that final was just terrible. I think 5-6 tough fights, and I think he was better than me. He was longer, he was better, and at the time he was the man to beat. And I was not good enough to beat him at the time. I wasn't good enough, so I got a silver, but I was still kind of a bit upset. But then in reflection, I was thinking, well, to be fair, that's a good achievement. And then 2 years later, I went to where did I go? I went to Russia for the World Championships. No, so Korea, sorry, in Muju.
Muju.
And so 2015, 2017, 2019, and then I got a bronze medal then. So it's like back-to-back bronze medal, back-to-back World Championship medals.
Amazing. The other one was in Muju, right?
Yeah, Muju. Yeah, the bronze medal, which was in.
How was it?
Yeah, so Muju was 2017. Do you know what? That's probably one of my best medals. Because of the backstory. Like, I was training for Rio. Rio didn't pay off. I qualified. I would have qualified automatically. My teammate as well jumped into the top 6. So, Latel Mohammed, he was out for a little while and then started performing very well. I was consistent in 2015. In 2015, like I was going. It was me that was going because I was consistent. But sport changes, and your performance can change very quickly. And I think obviously there's big pressure leading up to the event, and I had a lot of injuries. And at the time, I was thinking, it'll be in my favour to just keep competing and training through them. And that can affect your performance. So, in hindsight and reflection, I think sometimes I didn't rest enough. If I had an injury, I'd try and come back too fast. And that's just the way I am. I'd like to train, and, I'd feel like if I've missed sessions, it will affect my fighting. Whereas Latelo, I'd say mentally, he could miss loads of training, but he's still have that confidence within him. So it's things you learn over the years, but you can't look back and say, what if it happened? If I would have went to Rio, I think I know I'd have got a bronze at least. But the Taylor, he ended up getting a silver, and he fought out of his skin, and fought a guy from Azerbaijan and beat him, which was crazy, and no one thought he was going to do it because the guy was unbeatable at the time. So he did amazing, and that's the only thing I didn't do is the Olympics. So came back, I had pain in my left leg, went to get a scan, and they said, you need a hip operation. They said, can we scan your right? Scanned my right. They said, that's even worse. And I thought, okay. So I had the left one done. Was on crutches for 4 weeks. Had the right one done. Crutches for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And the World Championships was January, February, 4 months away, say. And I was supposed to have been out for a lot longer. But I thought, you know what? Like, they're thinking probably, Damon's 30, 31. He's had 2 hip operations. I think he's finished. And if anyone doubts me, that's my fire. That fuels me. It's like that's my motivation. And I thought, okay, if people thinking this, that's fine. So train through it. Again, I didn't listen to my body. You know, I was saying, bloody hell, Damon, you know, you're looking good. You shouldn't be kicking this early. I'm saying it's fine. I feel really fresh. But I didn't, but you know, I wanted to be in the team. And yeah, so then pushed on to that, and I didn't train much for it. I think I had one competition in the Moldovan Open, and my coach Martin Stamper at the time, he'd not won a gold medal with an athlete before. And as I signed into the competition, there was two people, me and someone else. And I said, Martin, I said, it's your time to win a gold now. Go into the competition. The rule, you know, the rule when the rules changed with the arms pass and all these different rules, it was a bit silly at the time. So I was like doing head kicks, and I was chambering like 1-2. And they were taking the head point off and saying your leg was too low at the start. The rules were stupid back then. It was really silly. No one knew what they were doing. And then he span and I kicked him over, you know, and then these days you'd get 2 points and maybe a Gamgin. You know, I was getting warned for kicking. It was a bit silly. So anyway, I got a silver medal. And then I hurt and then between the second round, my thumb was like here. And I said, Martin, so I don't think my thumb's so good. He said, yeah, we'll see that after. So I got back to training. I thought I've got like 3 weeks in the World Championships. I've just got a silver medal at the Moldovan Championships. Not the best confidence really. Go to the doctors. He says you need to get an operation. He said, you know, if you don't get the operation, you won't be able to pick things up. And if you don't get it soon, you know, you have to get it soon. I said, listen, like I've gone through all the hip operations. I've gone through the hard training. I'll take the risk. And after the World Championships, I'll come the day I come home from Korea, and we'll get my thumb operated on. So then, yeah, went to Korea, and then I, you know, World Championships is about who's in the right mental space, who can normalize the competition, who can understand that it's the same as the German Open, it's the same as the Moldovan Open, it's the same people, it's the same referees, but it's just people can put things on a pedestal, and they can, you know, they can think it's the world. There's no difference. So I sat there and I was fighting the last day, and I was just looking. I thought, you know what? I can't believe I'm here. You know, this might be my last. So you know what? I'm going to go on, smile, and enjoy. And then yeah, perform well. Got to the semi-finals and lost on golden point to the guy that beat me in Puebla actually last second. Anton, I think he's having to. He's beat me. I've not beat him actually. He's a smart fighter. But yeah, so that was the bronze medal, and that's my World Championships experience. And then I had one more in Manchester where I lost in the quarter. The last 16 was it quarters again by a point towards the end, and I feel like I could have got a medal, but it is what it is. You know, you might have won, you might have lost, you might have got silver or gold, or you might have lost first round, but you know it's all part of the experience, and you gotta. I would never look back on my career and say, what if? Like, it is what it is. And as a person as well, you know, I'm defined by not just my achievements, it's who you are as a person as well. And you realize that there's bigger things than a world medal.
Great thoughts. What do you think has been the keys for GB Taekwondo success that last decade where they were amazing, 2010s?
Yeah. When I first came to the team, you know, we'd go to competitions and we'd maybe win a bronze. It was unheard of to people to be winning opens back to back or multiple medalists. I think do you know what I mean? The system is amazing. You know, the performance director, you know, Gary Hall, you know, he's taken it from a budget of say 30,000 to 6 million. You know, he's a really smart business guy. And you know he's grown the facility, and you know it's interesting because every year, you know, he'll say to me, you know, we will get this at the next World Championships, and I think, you know, World Championships is like, you know, hit and miss. It's luck of the draw sometimes, but every time, you know, it's the staff, it's the athletes, it's the money helps as well. You know, it's the facilities, it's been able to go to competitions, being able to fly training partners in. But I think it all comes down to, like, we train hard. Like, we've had so many countries come and train with us over the years, and they can't compete with us because, I don't know, British people, I don't know, you know, we like to fight. You know, we used to take over the world years ago, this tiny country. So I think we've got a chip on our shoulder. So, you know, we're seen to be the aggressive race or the aggressive nation, like, historically. So I think that comes into play. And yeah, just a bunch of really good athletes at the time. You know, who's to say in 10 years that the next generation maybe doesn't do the same? I don't know if it was a golden era. I don't know if it will continue, but I think it was, really strong athletes with really tough mentalities. And at the moment, there's so much talent coming through. And there's so many good athletes in the team. So I think it was just, a combination of hard training, a really good work ethic, pushing each other, holding ourselves accountable, the coaches being really good. There's some amazing coaches in GB. There's some really smart coaches. My old coach, I've had a few coaches, but Steve Jennings was with me for a while, and he's a tactically really smart guy. Martin Stamper, who I used to train with, he coached me towards the end. Again, smart guy. So I think it's a mix between the fundings, facilities, the staff, the whole program, the hard work ethic.
Great. That GB Taekwondo program is private, right?
Yeah. So it's private, so we're funded by like UK Sport and lottery funding. So it's funded by the UK Sport. I think now, to be fair, I don't know if it is private. I think you could be right, but a lot of sports are funded by the UK Sport. So you have Taekwondo, say sprinting, athletics, and it's all kind of the similar system. Similar pay system, pay structure. Obviously, some people have got bigger sponsors, some of these superstars, but so that's how it kind of works. And you have chance to get into the team through fighting chance, like I did, and also if there's an athlete on the outside who they think is doing really well, they'll drag him into training and say, would you like to come training for a week or 2 weeks, or every Friday come in and show us your talent. So there's ways to get into the team, but it's a very high caliber team and high standard team.
Great. And during your athlete career, with which athletes did you enjoy fighting with?
Okay, that's a good one there. Who do I like fighting with? Loads of people. Martin Stamper, let me think. He was a 68, I was an 80. But at the time, like Martin, we're really good friends now, and he coached me for a little while, so it's quite surreal that we used to fight together and then he coached me. But I liked him because he's intense. Like I liked his intensity in training. I started to partner up with him because I was training with everyone, and then I looked to see who trains the hardest. Martin. So I made it my effort to go make him my partner tomorrow. Yeah, every day. And I think sometimes in the gym you can become too lazy and too complacent and think, I'll go with this other person because I'm a bit tired today. So yeah, I chose the best person, and everything he did, his movement, everything in the mirror, just everything he did in training, it was always real. It was always focused. So I made the effort to train with him because I knew he'd help my training, and we brought each other on, and he started winning everything at one stage, and I started doing really well. So yeah, I like to spar with him. Okay, moving on from that, everyone really. There's been so many people over the years. Latela Muhammad, we've had some great fights in and out the gym. Muhammad Cho, great to fight. He's a big guy, it poses danger as well because he's a bit of a knockout king sometimes. Loads. Christian McNeish, Bradley Sinden. Me and Bradley Sinden have trained loads together. So he's one of them guys. You're in the clinch, and you just feel these little taps. What's going on here? Those bendy legs. So me and Brad have trained a lot together. Christian McNeish. We've trained loads. I've trained with them all. Back in the day, who else have we got? I've sparred loads with Jay, Bianca when we used to mix together. So they're all kind of exceptional people to train with, and I think Martin Stamper used to like fighting him, but he used to always try and get me early on before he got tired. He's like, go with you first, because I was like really fit and just kept going, and I was kind of intense in training. So I would say like over the years, like I've had some really nice fights with him.
Good. And from other countries, someone special?
Do you know what? When in 2016, Ahmed Abagush, the Olympic champion, he came to train with us. I didn't know who he was. One of my teammates said, we have fought him in the Junior Worlds or Junior Euros. He came to train with us, and I've trained with the best of the best. Czech Cisse, we've had some good fights together in the ring, training. I've been to train in Mallorca with him in Palma. We've had some. He trains hard. He trains really hard. he's a hard worker, and he's strong. I like his power. But yeah, Ahmed Abu Gaush, it's the first time, I was training with someone. I thought, wow. Like I said, I think I posted on Instagram before the Olympics. I said, I would not often say this, but this guy is the real deal. He's 68 kilos. He was strong. He's explosive. He was intense. He'd fight me completely full on. He'd fight the tail. We were a bit bigger than back then. He's a lot stronger now, but he just showed the intensity. And people come over for training camps in the UK. And you'll have two fights, and sometimes if there's time to have a time to get out or to sit out or say sorry, I'm injured. It happens all the time. People come over. We have test matches, which is arranged fights, and everyone's injured. It happens all the time. So he was like, I'll fight this person, and then fourth fight later, I'll fight him. Heavyweight comes in, I'll fight him. So for me, he had all the attributes for someone special. And lo and behold, he won the Olympics, and he's one of the best fighters in the world. And I just liked his speed, his strength, his athleticism, and also his mindset. So for me, some people have one or the other. He ticked them all, and that's why he's a great fighter.
Great. In 2019, you decided to retire, and you joined this Finnish company. Can you tell us your story?
Yeah, so basically, I retired. I retired in 2019. I was thinking of doing it a little bit before, but I just kind of saw my head out at the time, and I was thinking, when people tell you things and you hear things, your performances don't go so well, and it's hard in Taekwondo when you're at the Grand Prix. It's top level, and for me, I started to doubt myself a little bit, and then I ended up just sorting my head out. My dad's a massive influence in me, and the psychologist. And I thought, you're fit in the gym still. You're one of the quickest. Performances got good again, so it prolonged it for another year, and then pushing for the qualification for Tokyo, and it didn't happen. And then I was thinking, what do I want to do? So I was thinking for a few months before, because I knew, if I don't get this and this medal, I'm not staying. I'm not going to. Some people stay in the sport, just to go to opens. Like, if I'm not going to the Olympics, if I'm not world level, I'm not doing it. I'm not running around. And then some people, they'll lose like yeah, and they'll maybe bag a medal somewhere. And that's what I wasn't in it for that. So I said, I'm done. I'm not going to get to that. I'm 33. My body's telling me now, my body and my heart as well. I'd go to competitions, and I couldn't put my finger on it. Sometimes, I was so passionate about fighting, but sometimes I'd want to fight, and sometimes, I'd pack my bag ready to go home as soon as I arrived, because I just couldn't understand why I couldn't, fuel the fire. And I think it was just the right time to finish. Speaking of finish, the company I worked for, I ended up thinking I wanted to do something with martial arts, something with Taekwondo. I also knew that the way the trends were going, things are going to go a lot more online. My family's a massive martial arts business over the years, so we know the way things were going. Obviously, COVID sped that up now, and I wanted to incorporate some kind of technology, like Peloton. But I just know that kids, adults, technology is a massive part of us. It's almost like it is part of us. We're part robot. We think with our phone. It's crazy how we're so connected to the phones. I didn't know if there was a product out there. I didn't have at the time, the funding to create one. It's a big operation. And then I got a message like the day I retired on LinkedIn from Kikai, and I thought, Kikai, who's Kikai? So he said, I was at home at the time. I went to Scotland when I retired, and I got a message saying, would you like to chat to us and speak about what you're up to? Have you got I've got any jobs lined up? Or would you like to come and speak to us in Finland? I was thinking, this is crazy. Laws of attraction. I obviously attracted it, and we attracted each other. I flew to Finland, and I ended up, I used the technology and I tried it out. It was really, really good and accurate. It was from the phone or the iPad, and it was registering your speed of your kicks, your reaction time, your volume, and there was training modes and simulations. So yeah, I was blown away, and the team are a great bunch of people, and I just thought this is meant to be. It was, it was meant to be. So it was just perfect, really. So from then I started working with Kikai for the past year. And the company's grown loads. We've just launched our Club Pro product, which obviously we've been working together, Luis, which has been nice. And yeah, so the company's taken off. We've got some high end top athletes with us. You've got it's perfect for recreational martial artists. Pre-COVID, I was traveling around the UK and Europe and the world, promoting it, teaching, and that was great. And now we're obviously doing it, again, using technology to find ways to do it by Zoom and other ways. And that's it, really. The company is going in such a great direction. And yeah, we've got exciting things that some things I can't mention right now that are in the pipeline. But yeah, the company is going in such a great direction, and I'm very happy to be proud of it all. So I'm very happy to be part of it all.
Excellent, Damon. Can you tell us a little bit more about the new product that you were talking about, the Club Pro?
Yeah, so the Club Pro is a system where there's basically 8 to 32 athletes that can train at the same time. So it's basically 3 different sizes of the Club Pro. So effectively, you have sensors that go on ankle straps. You put them on, and then in the dojang or the dojo, depending on what style you're in, you can do loads of training simulations. So reaction, speed test. You can spar with them on. You can do a specific fitness test we have. There's like survival modes, for loads of kids in the club training, and so you can keep hitting the thresholds and see who's the last one left. So the technology itself is it's such a great form of technology that's perfect in the current climate as well, because not only is it really good in the gym, it's also really good out of the gym. And with COVID and the way things have gone, I've used the technology to coach students from Manchester, coach students in America, Spain, Africa, and they've got Kick-Eye trackers on. I'm taking the session in my flat in Manchester. All the data, the speed of the kicks, how the intensity scores, how the volume of kicks, how many left leg kicks they threw, how many right leg kicks they threw, and it's instantly being sent back to me via their smartphones. So the stuff we're doing as a company is in line with the way things are going, and the remote training, just by chance, COVID happened, and we thought we can accommodate for this. So that's how it works, and there's so many technicalities behind it. And I mean, the people that watch the interview, and if you're interested in Kick-Eye, we've got the Club Pro, and the way we're doing it right now, because I can't go and demonstrate and teach, we're doing it on Zoom. So if anyone's watching this interview and is interested in the Club Pro or Kick-Eye as a company, I'm happy to arrange a Zoom, and we'll have a chat and we can speak about how it all works. But it's very technical and it's really impressive, but it's hard to show you to say unless I show you.
Amazing. And another kind of martial arts can benefit from it, not just only Taekwondo?
Yeah, of course. It's any kicking martial arts. It's any form of kicking martial arts. It works on velocity. So if you're a Thai boxer and you're working on your turning kick, obviously power's there. It's from the foot leaving the ground to impacting a target. A pad or someone. It's picking up your speed. You can do reaction. So any martial art that kicks, it's for you. And we're also in the pipeline of planning the hand sensors. So for kickboxing, sport karate, traditional karate, we're gonna teach a system how to code punching, and that was when we'll have the whole package. But yeah, any martial art, we've got people from Taekwondo, karate, kung fu, MMA, some top MMA people. So if you kick in your martial art, Kick-Eye is for you. Good,
excellent, Damon. How do you find this experience nowadays with COVID of remote coaching?
Yeah, so interesting. So like I said before, I had so many things planned for this year, like in-person training camps, people coming to train me in Manchester, but obviously a lot of it got cancelled. And it is what it is. Like I love coaching, and I think over the past year I've done a lot of coaching. And I hope that the stuff I put out and the stuff that the people that have worked with me, they know that my coaching is not just tactical. I would say I have a good tactical Taekwondo brain, tactical martial arts brain, because I just love it. I spend hours watching fights, MMA fights, kickboxing fights, boxing fights. I just love combat sports, and I feel like my success over the years has come from hard work and also use my brain and being smart. So, I mean, sometimes, we all don't fight smart. Sometimes I lose the plot, and it's like, That's silly, but that's just because I'm being stupid, or get too emotional or angry. But yeah, so remote training, yeah. So I've moved a lot on Zoom, and yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, with Kick-Eye, like I said, I can hold my sessions. I can not only teach Zoom sessions, I can teach Zoom sessions and also get the data from the athletes that you want to have as a coach. We can do a fitness test and I can get their base level intensity score via the Kick-Eye app. Which is, it's our intensity score based on the volume and also, the power and connection of kicks. So, I can do that and I can retest athletes. So with COVID and remote training, the Kick-Eye app is it's just so in line with it. If you have the Kick-Eye Club Pro, I can send a message to my students and I could say, Louise, please do 6 times 2 minute conditioning kicking, followed by 5 rounds sparring. You get that message on your phone, you put the trackers on in your training session and you complete it. You have the accountability as well because, you can't hide from it because, I mean, we've all been there. You say you've done a session on a Saturday and you've not done it. So, it's accountability. And also, I can keep you engaged. If I have a club, a recreational club, if lockdown happens and COVID and people can't come to the gym, I can give them the sensors. They can use the sensors in their household. They can keep inspired. They can keep motivated. They can keep challenged. They can also what's happened as well in Kick-Eye, which is very interesting, is their brothers and sisters have thought, what you doing there? Like what is this? Is it what's the flashing lights on the iPad or the phone? I want to see if I'm faster than you. So a lot of kids have, a lot of brothers and sisters from the household have used the technology because it's a fun gamified way for some people, and it just introduces them to martial arts in a different way. So the people have recruited new students from the same household. So it's so interesting with the technology, and I'm fortunate to be involved with Kick-Eye and being able to use that in my sessions.
Great. I'm gonna use this moment to make a small ad. In our episode 4, we have the interview with Jan-Erik. That is one of the founders of the company. So if you want to learn more about the app, you can hear that episode.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue, Damon. Well, let's now go to some more personal questions. Another one before going into it. When you really, from what you said, you really enjoy coaching.
Yeah.
So for the future, you want to coach in every style. You would like to coach in MMA, in Taekwondo, or what would you like to do in the future?
It's a tricky one. At the moment, I love working with Kick-Eye, and it's the freedom as well. Basically it works perfectly. If I have training camps and seminars, I can do them obviously on my own back, but at the same time promote the company. So that's the structure that really suits well with me, and I love to travel as well. But obviously I'm not traveling anywhere right now. So yeah, coaching. I mean, I think as well, there's a big gap in cross track. For example, MMA are striking coaches. Yeah, they are boxing coaches. They're wrestling coaches. I feel like they should have kicking coaches. Like I love MMA. I'm not silly here. I'm not going to say I'm not going to jump in doing taekwondo kicks and beat them. I get the style. I get all the styles, but I feel like the standard of kicking in MMA is not that high. Some people are exceptional kickers, but it's not that high. And I get as well. If you have an MMA fight, there's so many different components. So why spend 80% of your time working on spinning back kicks when you may have one chance in a fight? And I get that, but I think the kicks could be improved. So I'd love to. One of my friend Andrew Deere has started to work with some MMA guys, and I feel like in time they'll start to outsource maybe some kicking experts or kicking coaches to help. So that's one. I mean, I would love to coach. I like commentating, so I've commentated a few big events. I'd love to commentate the Olympics next year. It was on the card, but obviously postponed, so we need to work that out, depending on how it all works out. And also, I would love to coach. It's a tricky one. I'd like to coach my own club, do it as a profession. But at the same time, I'd love to coach a professional team as well. I really would. And I feel like I will be coaching a team. And I think when I get into it the way I am, I put everything into something. And I feel like if I put my mind to it, which I would, I feel like I could be, one of the best coaches in the world.
Good. Great. A lot of options.
Yeah. Hopefully. No, yes, definitely.
Excellent. Well, let's go to the next questions, the personal ones. Is there a book that you given most as a gift, and why? If not, what are 1 to 3 books that have influenced your life more?
Ooh, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a massive reader. I'm not a massive reader. However,
Okay.
let me think. I started to listen to a few books recently on more so on Audible. I just feel like I sometimes my patient, like, I can read a page, especially if you're tired. And I used to obviously train a lot, so I read a page and I think, what have I just read? Like, I can't remember what I just read. So Audible is a godsend for that. Yeah, I think in terms of reading and literature, I like to watch things. I like to watch documentaries. I like to watch podcasts. I like to listen to certain expertise, people that are experts in their industries. I like to learn about the mind. I like to learn about spirituality, all these different things. And for me, I won't sit there and watch some TV show that's just going to bore my mind about drama and people that I'm just not into that. I'd watch something about diet, or the best plant-based diet, or I'd speak about motivational people and people that are successful in their own industry. And I grew up listening to Tony Robbins and all these motivational speakers from 10 years old in the car. We'd drive down to England for 9 hours and I'd say, Dad, please turn that off. Like, and yeah, I ended up absorbing it, I suppose, but it takes a while before you understand the benefits to that. So yeah, I think for me, I don't necessarily sit and read, but I'll watch a lot and I'll read a lot online, and I'll just constantly try and educate myself on how to improve. And I've had my opinions over the years, and the more I educate myself on certain topics, the more I'll change my opinion. So I'm kind of trying to be not opinionated now, because there's so many things out there and things evolve and things change. But no, I just, if I get into something, training, if I think about tapering for competition, I'll just research. If I think about dieting, I'll look at the best people, cutting weight. And I just like to draw information from other people and then try and add it to my life.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great way of learning. I think books were and still are a great tool, but we now have a lot of different options. I'm pretty sure that if many writers of 100 years ago got YouTube, they were YouTubers. They would be YouTubers, sure.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Exactly. Yeah, that they are the the flop. Let's say, well, I don't know what to call them, but they are the influences of our generation.
Yeah, now they are. We are learning now from them.
Correct.
Great. What purchase of less 100 pounds has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. Wow. Wow, that's a tough one, Luis. Do you know? Oh, that's a tough one. I bought a good beard trimmer the other day. Trims my beard. It's under £100, and it keeps you looking good. It keeps your beard looking fresh. At the time I was shaving my head as well, so that was it. That was a good purchase. I got a tripod for my live sessions. It's, I don't know, £20, 20 euros. Again, that was a live godsend because you create a good angle. Other than that,
That's fine. We can. What kind of? You can be as specific as you want in that thing.
Yep.
Great. Do you have any specific failure? Maybe a favorite one that set you up for later success?
Oh, that's interesting. One time, one time I was at the Croatian Open, and I fought a red belt. Yeah, so in Taekwondo it's one before black, and I'm obviously Team GB, but kind of new. So I was probably in the team for like a year and a half, and I fought this guy, and I kicked him. I used to go out like a bull in a china shop, and at the time I didn't understand my brain. It was raw talent, and it was like a steam engine going. But if the referees give me a bad point, or if something happened, or I get kicked in the head, I would see red and go into just crazy mode and not thinking. And I remember I fought this guy, and like I kicked him in his face, and like the referee didn't score it. And I'm thinking, wow, why you didn't score that? Then he kicks me in the head. Then I get angry. Then I get anxious. I'm thinking he's a red belt. Everyone's watching. I then start rushing, kicks me in the head again. I end up getting beat by him by I think he gapped me by 12 points. I got 10 points at the time. and he's obviously celebrating. He's a GB athlete as well. I don't even know not many people knew me at the time. And then I just got my stuff, bowed off, walked outside, sat on the curb. I was in tears, and I thought, what the hell are you doing? I was like, why have you gone from kickboxing to be beat by, I know it doesn't matter, red belts can be better than black belts, but to be beat not even by a black belt. I was like, you need to leave now. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing your family. Just stop it. And then that was when I realized that you got to trust the process. Sometimes things don't come easy, but you have to trust the process. And, the next tournament, I think 2-3 months later, I won gold at the German Open and beat, the best people, beat the Olympic champion. So people can beat themselves up on something, but it's all part of the journey. And you can't, people that get knocked by, adverse things that happen or failure, they're quitters. If you want to be a champion, you have to lose more than you win. I've traveled around the world and fighting, lost 10 kilos, lost 8 kilos and weighed in, sacrificed 8 for weeks and weeks. And I go to a tournament in China and lose first round, and you can't beat yourself up about it. You really can't. You've got to realize it's all part of the process. And if you believe in your abilities and you believe in your coaches, you will get there. So yeah, that was one that rung true to me. I was ready to quit, and then literally, a couple of months later, I'm the top of the world again. Feeling the best, and so it swings and roundabouts. It's a British phrase, I think.
Good. What do you consider you are not good at?
In anything.
In anything.
Oh wow, what am I not good at? What am I not good at? I sometimes can be a bit hard, like if I'm coaching as well or training, I have my way, and my way is like, 100 miles an hour. And if anyone's not doing that, I can be quite dismissive, and I can be quite my way or the highway with some things. And I think as an athlete, when you're an athlete over the years, I realized you have to be quite selfish as an athlete. Your body is your product, it's your business. At the weekends, if people are trying to affect it, it's like, shut them out. And I know family or girlfriends, they want to go for a nice walk. No, I don't want to go for a walk, I want to rest my leg. So I think over the years, when I was an athlete, I was kind of like that. Not crazy, not some people. Some athletes are very, very like that. But I think that I probably wasn't as emotive or understanding of people. And I think when you're an athlete, you can be in a bubble. So I think I wasn't the most, I didn't really understand the greater meaning of life when I was an athlete, because all my life was training and fighting. So I think since then I've become a better person.
Great, Damon. If you could have a gigantic billboard that anybody in the world could see, which message would you put on in? A message for the whole world.
Tough questions, Reece. Tough questions.
We are.
I'll probably say join Sansum online training.
Good one.
I would say it would be something about the power of the mind. I would say, there's a phrase we used to use in our club. It's a bit cheesy. You dream it, believe it, achieve it. I would say something along the lines of, if you believe you can do it, you're halfway there. The power of belief and self-belief, and that you can create your own destiny through your thoughts. That's what I would like to push to people. Sometimes, you think you want. I used to visualize when I win the semi-finals at the World Championships, when I win the quarterfinals, I'm gonna go down on my knees. Then I'm gonna do this, and I every night I'd see myself doing it, because I think when you believe you can do it and you visualize, it happens. And it's crazy how the laws of the universe work. And it might be a bit deep for some people, but that's what I'd like to say to people is, believe in and living and being happy in life and being optimistic and positive is key for me.
Great. What is the best investment you've ever made?
Investment. I've been in Bitcoin for a while, which is cryptocurrency. So, I've been in it I got into it really early. It went up and down, and with what's going on now in the financial world and the COVID and the cashless currency, and I'll be all day that we can speak about after this personally, me and you. But yeah, I believe that in the next year to two, the investment that I've made over the time will be a massive investment financially.
Great. What advice would you give to a 13-year-old starting to compete in Taekwondo?
Okay, so tricky age, for me, 13, 14, 15, there's a massive drop off in martial arts. You know, people find drinking, you know, alcohol. People, you know, girls find boys, boys find girls. You know, you start to become a man or a woman, and you know, obviously, boys might find boys and girls might find girls, and you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I would say to them, you know, when you're younger, you can't see past tomorrow. You really can't. You know, I've done it in the past. You know, you've got something on tonight, or your mates going for drinks, or you know, you're doing something with your friends. You know, you got I don't know, homework or an exam or training. You can't see past tomorrow. It's hard to see in the future. So, I would say to a 13-year-old that's doing taekwondo, I would say, just enjoy it. Don't go crazy. Don't beat yourself up. Don't like, honestly, teenagers, if you're out there like 13, please don't kill yourselves making weight. Don't sit in saunas with jackets on. It's dangerous, you know. Just fight your way. You know, when you get older, you can work that out, but it'll affect their growth. You know, it affects a lot of things in their body, and females especially. So I would advise them just not to cut crazy weight, and don't be pressured by people to do that. I'd also say that when you're 13, you know, as you get older, you know, you could be the biggest in the category, the smallest in the category. So again, just trust the process, because sometimes, you know, you might be the smallest and you might lose for a year, but then you become the biggest, you might be the tallest, or you might become the strongest. So it's all a journey, but the key that kind of encompasses it all is just keep it fun. And if there's a time where you don't want to fight, or there's a time where you're feeling bad, I don't know, go and do some patterns, or go and cross train, go to the gym, go do some boxing, go do some kickboxing. But I feel like it's the instructor's job and potentially the parents' job to keep them happy and keep them engaged. And then when they get to the seniors and the 16, 17, then they can take it seriously.
Great. Great recommendations. Now, what are bad recommendations you hear in Taekwondo that you don't agree? Some idea you don't agree with in the Taekwondo environment.
Ooh, wow. What do I don't agree with? I used to not agree with people falling over and kicking. I hated that. And then the Gamgins came in, which helped. So I was thinking, you know, I used to attack people, just fall over and kick, and no penalties. I was thinking it's cowardly almost, some of the kicks. So I didn't like that. But then in today's Taekwondo, what do I not like? Let me think about this. I think that we compete too much. I think that the point system and the ranking system, a couple of things, you know, you make weight too much. You know, you have to, there's a 5% rule as well the next day. So people compete too much. Their performances aren't consistent. You know, some people might do really well and terrible because of weight or because of lack of training. The fact it's a ranking system, and there's, you know, people put on so many competitions, it forces you to go to the competitions, because, you know, your opponent's going to the back end of beyond to get these points, these easy points in these little competitions. And that means you can't train, you can't afford to make gains, you can't afford to, you know, put on muscle, you can't afford to try and change your tactics, or to, I don't know, to increase, I don't know, I want to work on a right leg back kick. I'm fighting in 3 weeks. I've got to make weight at the same time. I can't even put the time in. You can't put your body into a hole to adapt because you're fighting too much. There's not even a season. You fight at the end of December and then January. So I think there needs to be a season. The season needs to be a specific season. People have to chase points. People are making money on competitions. So I think that there has to be a season for people to rest, for the injuries to heal, and also for allow them to adapt and improve. And I feel like it improve, you know, the sport, the standard of the sport.
Great. Excellent. Last question. When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do to be on your way again?
So for me, in the ring or just in general?
Both, but let's go for the ring.
Okay. If I'm not focused, I think if I'm not focused in the ring, it's too late to change it for me.
Yeah.
It's done. It's done. You know, I have to do it before. If I'm not focused in training or something, you need to realize why you're doing it. Why am I here? You know, what is my why? Like, you know, some people, I say to some people, like, why are you here? I want to win a few tournaments. What do you want to win? I don't know, a couple of big ones. No, it's not good enough. You know, you need to know why you're doing it. Why you putting your body through the stress? Why are you getting up every day, crawling down the stairs? You know, sometimes I'd come from training and I'd live on the top floor of the old house we used to live in. I used to have to like have a break on the middle floor because I couldn't even get up it. But the reason I did it is because I had a goal. You know, I wanted to be world champion. I wanted to be Olympic champion. So I think if you ever become a bit a bit lost, sit down and work back to why are you here. Is it because you want to please other people? Do you want to please yourself? Do you want money? Do you want fame? Do you want recognition? Do you want to go to a competition and people say, "There's Damon Sansum," and I thought, okay, that's nice. When I came to Taekwondo, I was going to tournaments and no one knew me, and I said, I'm going to train my ass off, and in 2-3 years, you'll know who I am. You'll come up to me and say hi. I'm not going to be in the background when you sign hi to my teammates and you don't know who I am. Like I'll make you know me in years, and that was a big one for me for recognition. So I think you need to realize what is your why and just strip it back. And once you realize your why, when the going gets really tough, you'll then you'll kick on with the training. You won't quit because you know why you're doing it, and you'll hold yourself accountable. And the inner person in your brain will say, no, we are doing that extra round because we want this. And that's what I would say.
Perfect, Damon. Something that I didn't ask you that you would like I to ask you, or something that you would like to add to the interview?
Nothing really. I think I hope people enjoy watching. I think from my experiences, it's nice to learn from other people's experiences because it helps you sometimes create shortcuts, and you don't have to do certain things. Don't have to go through the struggle or the sacrifice other people have made. Sometimes you can use people's advice to help you, but you still have to go through it. So yeah, I hope people enjoy the talk. That was it. I think everyone just keep training your discipline, keep training hard, and realize I think at the end of the day, you just enjoy what you're doing. At the end of the day, just think you might get nervous for fights and you might get nervous for the world championships, but if you fast forward, it's called a specific technique in psychology. And if you sit there as an old man or an old woman and your grandchildren came in as maybe you, what advice would you give them? What would you say? Would you say, be nervous when you fight? Would you say, like, don't give everything to something? You tell them certain things. Enjoy your life. Do things that make you happy. And and life's short, so just enjoy it. So I think it's nice to fast forward and think, what would I say to myself? And that's what I'd say to people as advice.
Perfect, Damon. It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot for the interview. I really enjoyed it. Hope it will be useful for many people. As you said, can create really shortcuts. You have to experiment the process, but I learning from successful people, from people that already have walked the road, is always useful. So a pleasure to talk with you, Damon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you. See you later.
See you. Bye.